Two candidates running in the 21st District in Texas. Chip Roy is one. Matt McCall is another. Mr. McCall, how are you, sir?
I am well. Thank you so much for having me on and for taking an interest in our race.
All right. I've been trying to find out stuff about you, and I really can't find well, I'm interviewing you. I really can't find out a lot. What do you do?
Well, let me just say first, if I could, Mark, there's two things that I love about you, and that is, one, you're a constitutionalist, and two, you seem to be a man that's passionate about everything. And I love that because I'm a passionate constitutionalist.
Thank you.
Myself.
Now, what do you do?
But I own an FDA-certified human tissue bank, and I provide human tissue, I'm a distributor, to the American military in Europe and in Asia for transplants. And I've been doing that for about 15 years, and so I'm in a strange business that you don't get wealthy at, but it's incredibly rewarding. And through business and personal interests, I've traveled in 45 countries around the world, and that's what I do for a living.
Now, I see here you've run for Congress a few times, correct?
Twice. And, the average is that you have to run 2.5 times on average to win. And
really?
I ran twice. Yes, I ran twice against a 28 and 30-year incumbent, Lamar Smith. It was time for the next generation to get into the fight, and our country has $21 trillion of debt, and I'm absolutely against that. I have real daughters. It is real debt, and I don't want to leave it to them.
But here's my question to you. Here's my question. Anybody can come on here and tell me anything, and I believe everything you're telling me. But I went into Texas often. I worked with the Tea Party movement in Texas often. I just don't remember you.
Well,
were you involved in the Tea Party movement? What activities have you been involved in that demonstrate your conservatism?
I've poured my heart and soul into running.
I'm having a little trouble hearing you, by the way.
I'm sorry. I said I poured my heart and soul for the party. You asked specifically for the party.
No, I don't care about the party. The Tea Party is what I'm talking about.
Oh, the Tea Party. Well, I'm endorsed by the Fredericksburg Tea Party. Most of the Tea Parties down here don't endorse. The one in San Antonio does, and they were with me.
Who did they endorse?
They did endorse Chip. I think you're probably aware of that. And the first time they endorsed me. The second time they said the head of the Tea Party said I can't be with you this time because Lamar Smith's doing something for me. And why don't you run in 23? And I said, well, I don't live in 23. And he said, well, that doesn't matter. So now he's running with Chip, and Chip also doesn't live in our district, and he can't vote for himself. And so I do live in the district.
Well, they gerrymandered your district, and his kids go to school. But I'm trying to figure out about you. So before you go on the attack, I'm talking to you.
I'm not attacking.
Hold on now. Ted Cruz backs Chip. Mike Lee backs Chip. Jordan backs Chip. Louis Gohmert, you may have heard of. He's from Texas. He backs Chip. Gun Owners of America. I'm looking at the list right here. Okay. Texas Right to Life. Why aren't they backing you?
Well, none of them have spent 2 minutes calling me and talking to me, and that's really a shame.
But it's not up to them to call and talk to you. It's up to you to make your presence known. And I'm trying to figure out, what have you done in this district?
Well, I appreciate you letting...
Sir, I've been a conservative activist for 40 years. Around the country, in my own district. I can tell you today what I do in my own district for the conservative cause. What have you done for the conservative cause?
I appreciate you're a fair-minded man, and I'd like to...
Just don't give me the psychobabble. I asked you, what have you done in your district for the conservative cause? Go ahead.
Well, what did President Trump do before he ran for office?
Now you're President Trump.
No, I'm just saying I ran for office twice and poured my heart and soul and my finances into it. And it is as you've run for office, I believe, before, When
I was 19, yes.
Yes, but you've done it. And you know what it takes. And it takes a full year in a large congressional district of putting your heart and soul into it.
Sir, I've asked you, what have you done for conservative causes in your district?
I'm just telling you, and that's it.
You ran for office.
Yes, against a man who co-sponsored what the Gun Owners of America called the Veterans Disarmament Act.
But the Gun Owners of America back your opponent, Chip.
Yes, well, I think that's very interesting.
Are they crooked too?
They did. I didn't call them crooked.
Well, you said the head of the Tea Party, the other guy, was said, well, if you run in the other district and you don't run in my district.
I never called him crooked, now did I?
Well, I don't know why you're running. What are you running for?
I'm running because I am a constitutional conservative, and I'm
based on what?
Based on the Constitution, sir.
No, but based on what? How old are you?
54, sir.
You're 54. You've lived a good life. What have you done? Or let's do it this way. Have you worked on any campaigns at the grassroots level other than your own?
Yes, friends of mine that are on the school board.
Did you work for the Cruz campaign or the Trump campaign?
Why is this a prerequisite for anything?
There's no prerequisite. I asked you a question. Why are you so defensive? I'm trying to figure out what you've done. I don't know you.
For in the political arena, other than running for office, nothing for the party. What I've done is I paid a lot of taxes. And
I didn't say for the party. Ted Cruz ran against the party. Donald Trump ran against the party. You're telling me that when you had one of the biggest Senate races in Texas, you weren't involved. You're telling me when you had one of the biggest presidential elections, you weren't involved, and yet you ran for office twice for yourself.
Well,
why?
16 other people in this race because the people of this district, 33,000 of them voted for me last time when I ran against Smith. And they voted for me because they know me, and they took more time to know me, and I took time.
And I'm trying to know you, and the whole country's trying to know you, and you won't tell me.
Well, I'm trying to tell you. You went through a list of questions with Chip on the air. Why don't we go through that list?
Because I'm interviewing you, and I'll do this any damn way I choose to do it. I don't know who you are, and I've asked you now. I know who he is. I know what he's done. That's why I endorsed him. I'm trying to find out what you have done. Have you worked in the Cruz campaign? No. Have you worked in the Trump campaign? No. What conservative things have you done?
I just answered the question for you, sir.
There is not an answer.
No, I've done. I'll stipulate from your perspective. I've done nothing on that. Now, can we get on to some of the issues?
All right, let's take a position. How about pro-life?
I'm 100% pro-life from conception to natural death.
Okay.
And all life deserves due process. And what I would like to do is see a bill passed, and I think that what we need to do is change the rules in the House so that we can force clean bills through and make an up or down vote at everybody in the House on that issue, instead of letting all the House members say they're pro-life and then not vote that way.
But you say you're pro-life, and you haven't lifted a finger.
Oh, that's not true.
What about the legislation in Texas? They had a big battle in Texas a few years back. Were you involved in that?
Yes, actually I was. Went and testified.
What did you do?
I went and testified, supported Donna Campbell in that battle, showed up at the
Good, you finally gave me some information. That's good. Tell me this. Tell me this. I see a Twitter thing. Somebody just sent me this, and not from the campaign. Somebody in Texas. I'm looking at this here. You were in front of the League of Women Voters. Did you speak in front of the League of Women Voters?
Yes, I certainly did.
This is all over the Internet, right? You know what I'm talking about here.
Well, I don't know about all over on the Internet, but...
Oh, it's all over the Internet. I can tell you that right now.
You know,
so you're in this liberal forum, the League of Women Voters. They don't much like me, by the way. And you say that you wouldn't want Trump to watch your daughters. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
You wouldn't want Trump to watch your daughters?
It's kind of a paraphrase of what Ted Cruz said.
I'm not worried about Ted Cruz. I'm talking about you.
Yes, it's exactly right.
Well, what are you worried about? What are you worried about?
I don't want Brad Pitt watching my daughters either.
I didn't ask about Brad Pitt. What are you worried about? You think Trump would hit on your daughters?
Do you want Bill Clinton to watch your daughters? Do you have daughters?
No, I don't want Bill Clinton to watch my daughters in any way. Yes, I have a daughter, and I wouldn't mind Donald Trump watching her either.
Okay, may I give the quote?
Go ahead. I watched it right on the Internet, but go ahead.
Good. Then I said I completely support President Trump and his policies. I don't necessarily want him to watch my daughters, but I completely support the president and his policies. It was a joke. And I think the president has a pretty good sense of humor, too. Do you support, I don't think you care for that, but it doesn't matter. Do you support heavy tariffs across the board on steel and aluminum?
I don't.
Well, I think that
that's the president's position. I don't support that. Do you?
I think that he is using that as leverage for the moment to get a better deal.
All right, so you do support
to leave them there for permanent tariffs? No, I don't believe in that.
Do you support giving 1.8 million people citizenship like he does? I don't.
No, I absolutely don't. And I've said.
Well, you just said you support the president across the board.
Yes,
you don't support the president across the board.
The amnesty is the issue that I really don't support him on. I support him on withdrawing from this deal on Iran, because that is basically the nuclear proliferation, not the nuclear non-proliferation deal. And I think that he can get a much better deal. I support his negotiations and what he's done and doing in North Korea. I support building the wall, because it's not just about immigration, which it is about, but it's also about nationhood. And nationhood should mean something, and citizenship should mean something.
Tell me, let me ask you a quick question before we're out of time. You're saying these things, some of which are good, some of which are complicated to me. How do the people in this district know to believe you? I don't see you've been very active in much other than running for yourself.
No, I'm not running for myself.
You got 30 seconds. That's all I have.
I'm not running for myself. I'm running to serve this district that I live in.
No, I don't mean run. I don't mean that. I'm saying, other than running for office and saying these things, I don't really see that you've done any of these things.
Well, the Constitution doesn't require that. What it requires is that you be a citizen over 25. And it requires you to go out and persuade people to vote for you. And I am doing that.